If you know me, you know I love a good acronym. After all, my company name is GSD. Get shit done. Our guest today has another fantastic acronym that really embodies the spirit and energy of what she is trying to bring to the world. Her acronym is B.A.M.F. B-A-M-F, which stands for bold, authentic, magnetic, and flourishing. Our guest supports female solopreneurs because the fact of the matter is we cannot do it alone, nor should we. Her consulting firm is a nod and honor to her grandmothers. Let's listen in on the conversation to learn more about B.A.M.F. and Meredith Patrick. On today's episode, I'm excited to have Meredith Patrick. Hi, Meredith. How are you today?
I'm good, Misha. How are you?
Good. Meredith, thanks so much for being on the GSD Factor podcast. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell our listeners a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, happy to. My name is Meredith Patrick. I am the founder and CEO of Vinsco Jacobs. I work specifically with project management, so I help 6- and 7-figure female entrepreneurs by taking projects they've been putting off for months and getting them done in a day. And my company, Vinsco Jacobs, is named after my grandmothers because I hope to emulate them, and they have inspired me to start my own business, which is why I also work with female entrepreneurs.
I love all the story and the background behind the name of your companies and how you're channeling your ancestors and how you're helping the next generation of women entrepreneurs. So thank you for that. And I really want us to dive into your own entrepreneurial story and how that came about and how that ties in with the GSD Factor life. So why don't you talk to us a little bit about what made you wake up one day and say, I want to be an entrepreneur?
Yeah, great question. So I had 15 years of experience in operational and administrative support, primarily in the healthcare space. And throughout that time, I just kept wondering, is this all there is? I just felt like I wasn't satisfied no matter what role I had. I thought, oh, well, when I get that next promotion, I'll be happy. Or when I make 6 figures, I'll be happy. And I landed what I thought would be my dream job, at least on paper. And I was still wondering, is this all there is? So at that point, I decided to use my skills and start my business. This was in April 2023. I decided to start part-time just to dip my toe in the water and see how it goes. But after a few months, I realized I really needed to commit to it full-time to get that traction that I wanted. So I went full-time in September of 2023 and haven't looked back. It's been quite a roller coaster ride, but I wouldn't change it for anything.
Awesome. And I think your story is such a similar story to so many other women entrepreneurs out there. And what I hope is that they will hear this and realize they're not alone. They're not alone on this journey. They're not alone feeling unsatisfied and really wanting to make that change and powerfully choosing for themselves that they want to be their own bosses and be able to have that what I like to call work-life family education integration, depending upon what stage in life you are. So talk to us about, you're in that first year of entrepreneur and when we think about the GSD Factor life of being confident, inquisitive, imaginative, be present, be resilient, and influential, have there been different attributes that you maybe had to activate at different times on this new entrepreneurial journey of yours?
For sure. So first starting out, being confident was obviously the biggest one. I talk a lot with both my friends as well as fellow business owners about the transition going from an employee mindset to a CEO mindset is so much harder than you think it will be, especially for me. Like I said, 15 years of working for someone else, like you just get programmed to expect someone to tell you what you need to work on, and they get to decide when you have a raise and when you go on vacation, and you just get used to that routine. So going from working as an employee to being my own CEO and having the control was obviously incredibly freeing, but also really frightening at times, right? Because you're the only person responsible for your success. So it's been rewarding. It's been definitely a learning experience. So confidence was huge in the beginning, because if you're not confident in yourself as a business owner, then you're not going to succeed, because no one else is going to believe in you if you don't believe in yourself.
So now, almost a year later, right? Talk to us. Now, what attributes are really needing to be fired up, and which ones are you really igniting for yourself now, a year into your entrepreneurial journey?
Yeah, so in this season of my life and my business, the two biggest ones for me are being inquisitive and being resilient. I feel like being inquisitive has always come naturally to me. I love reading, I love learning new things, but just in the sense of my own business, just always experimenting and seeing what works, right? Like the first year was really just getting like my operations set up, finding my ideal client, choosing what I wanted my offer to be. And now that I'm confident with all of that, it's more about stepping out of my comfort zone. And I'm going on podcasts like this one and hosting networking events and thinking of starting my own podcast, and all these things that are really exciting. But also, obviously, they take time and effort to be successful, right? So that's where the resilience comes in. I like to say that my business is a garden and not a grocery store, that we're always trained in society to want immediate results. But really, like, especially with owning a business, you have to plant the seeds and wait for them to grow. So as I am coming up on my 1 year anniversary, I feel like a lot of my seeds are finally starting to bloom, and I'm really excited about that.
Well, first of all, congratulations on reaching that 1 year milestone. I think many entrepreneurs, they maybe don't activate their resilience early enough, and they maybe not, they don't make it to that first anniversary. And so we want to applaud you and celebrate you, because that's a huge milestone for yourself. And I think what's important is, as entrepreneurs, we wear lots of different hats, right? And we really do, we are, we're kind of, especially those of us that are solopreneurs, right? We're wearing a lot of hats. We're having to be in those different positions and those different roles and things of that nature. So as a solopreneur, what are some of those attributes that you have activated for yourself? And do you find that it's one, or do you find that it's more than one? I really want this to kind of be, something to encourage those other entrepreneurs, especially those solopreneurs that are just starting out.
Yeah, I think it really, I mean, your title, Get Shit Done, really encapsulates being an entrepreneur, right? Because you have to get shit done. Um, and so, like you said, we wear different hats. And as I said, you just have to try new things and see what sticks. And I mentioned before, but it really is so crucial to just push yourself outside of your comfort zone, because especially as an employee, you get, like I said, used to that routine, and it can get monotonous. And so you're confined in this box that you're used to. I like to think of it as the Wizard of Oz, right? That it's Dorothy like living in sepia and then opening the door, and there's this world of Technicolor that she never even knew existed. So it's really just opening that door and opening yourself up to so many things that you didn't even know were possible, right? Like I wasn't big on LinkedIn before I started my business, and now it's my main social media platform, because I love the authentic engagement that I see on there. So I've been hosting LinkedIn Lives. I'm going to partner with another business owner to do a LinkedIn Live together. I'm presenting to a fellow business owners coaching community about my experience. So again, just pushing yourself. My corporate career, I started as an admin assistant, got promoted to executive assistant, became an operations specialist, and then a program manager, right? Like that's like a traditional corporate ladder. But the fun thing about being an entrepreneur is, as you said, you can wear all these different hats and be all these different things, and you don't have to confine yourself to one thing.
So as we wear many hats, there's also a prioritization that has to take place, right? And in the book, I talk about that prioritization of now, next, and later, and how it provides a lot of flexibility and agility, because now could be today, next could be tomorrow, and then later could be next week. Or you can do it as, now is this week, next is the following week, and so on and so forth. What have you found as you have been on this entrepreneurial journey has been a really helpful tool for you in prioritizing, what do I need to focus on right here and right now?
Yeah, great question. So I like to map out my main goals for the year just to have a ballpark idea of where I want to be throughout the year and then break it into quarters. I feel like that makes it much more manageable to try to achieve those things and just remaining flexible and adaptable as things change, right? Like I mentioned, I might want to start my own podcast. Originally, I thought I might do that in quarter 1 of this year. But because I've been getting so many podcast guest spots, and like I said, I'm doing networking events, like I realized Q1 isn't the right time for that. So both having, like I said, the big picture plan of what you might want to accomplish and then breaking it down into quarterly chunks, but still staying adaptable to figure out what works best and taking it day by day or week by week as it goes.
I love that because then it allows for those pivots, right? To say, hey,
Exactly.
this is the year goals, but here's the quarterly goals, and you can pivot them, right? So from one quarter to the next or 1 month to the next one. But that ultimate goal, that ultimate end result for the end of the year is, hey, I want to have done this. And I think that that's really important. So, talk to us a little bit about what you are offering to female entrepreneurs, because I think we have so many female entrepreneurs that listen to this podcast. And I love what your business model is around and what you are doing, because I think so many times, when we're needing some additional help for a period of time, it's a little to get to that point of saying I do need some help, and asking for help is a really big milestone that all of us women should really we should really celebrate that we get to that point. But the second thing is also saying, okay, I have limited resources, I have limited time, I really need some help getting something done. And what I love and appreciate about your business model is it's not this long extended contract, right? It's not this long-term engagement. You're like, let's get shit done and let's get it done fast. So I want you to share with our listeners, like, what is it that you are doing to help fellow women entrepreneurs to get shit done fast?
Yeah, that was a great summation, Nisha. I need to like write that down once we get this recording because that really nailed it. Thank you for that. Like you said, like female entrepreneurs don't always have the time. They also don't have the money to have that long-term support, right? Or they might not have the amount of projects for a long-term support. So that's what I really do love about my offer, that it's a one and done VIP day that, like I said, I take a project that they've been planning for months, right? Like they know they need to get it done. It's super important for their business, but especially being an entrepreneur and the CEO and wearing all these different hats, the main thing they don't have is the time to get it done. So it's just me having a quick onboarding call with them to discuss the type of project they want help with. And then, like I said, I get it done in a day, usually. Sometimes if they want help with multiple projects, it might be several days. But just, again, taking that project that has been on the back burner for months that they're super excited about, they just don't have the time, and getting it done. And like you said, not having to sign a contract. Like I like to say, I'm like, it's like adding a team member, but without all the HR paperwork. It's just like a quick and easy one and done project. And hopefully it helps fuel their business and take them to the next level.
Awesome. All right. What is Meredith powerfully choosing in 2024?
So my word or acronym for the year I came up with for 2024 is BAMF. It obviously has an expletive uh, origination, but
We
my
wouldn't know anything
spin.
about that here.
Right. Yeah. I just heard about it somewhere. But my spin on it is it stands for bold, authentic, magnetic, and flourishing. So every day that I wake up and work on my business and help my clients and network with other business owners, I hope to embody the attributes and values of being bold, authentic, magnetic, and flourishing.
Oh, I love that powerfully choosing. I feel like you need like stickers and branding and all the things. And, let's talk about a trademark too, because that's always important as well. As women, we only own 15% of the trademarks in the United States, and I want to change that number. And as someone who owns two and I have four in process, like as we come up with these ideas and these innovations and these different business ideas, but also names and patents and things, I think it's really important for women to understand that they have the rights and the means to be able to get these things trademarked and registered and patented, and it's really important. And I think over the next 5 to 10 years, I want to see that number change for women and minorities, because I think it's really important for us to move that needle from 15% up. And the other thing that I'm really passionate about right now too is really helping that awareness and education around venture capital, and helping those women in their funding, right? I think, the statistic today says that it's less than 2% of women and minority groups that get that VC money. And I think as women entrepreneurs are launching, I think it's so important for you to build your business, build that business model, hire Meredith and the team to get shit done quickly, right? Without those long-term contracts or those different things. I mean, I think so many times we have that list of things of like, oh, if I could just get this and this done, it would propel me. It would help me scale. It would help me grow. And I think as we continue to support women and support women, having trademarks and patents and registrations, but also helping women get that VC money, I think the world's going to be a stronger place. And I think it's going to be wonderful for the next generation of entrepreneurs, which I think is so important. But I want to thank you so much for being on the podcast today, sharing your story and your experience of how to live that GSD Factor life with your entrepreneurial journey. But then also, the offering that you provide. I think so many times women are like, oh, if I just had another friend, or if I just had someone to help me this day. So I think that that's amazing. So thank you, Meredith, for seeing that problem and coming up with an amazing solution. How do our listeners get in touch with you if they want to connect with you, but then also work alongside you?
Yeah. So like I said, my main social media platform is LinkedIn. So my handle on that is Meredith A. Patrick. But then also Vinsco Jacobs, my website, vinscojacobs.com. Feel free to send me an email, meredith@vinscojacobs.com. And I just want to thank you so much for both the opportunity to come on your podcast, but also just all the ways you've supported me over the past few months. You invited me to be on your podcast after we had a coffee chat. So for new entrepreneurs out there, or even well-established entrepreneurs who don't really regularly have coffee chats, I highly encourage it, because it's just a great way, especially in this remote working age, right, to just connect with people. And that one coffee chat with you, you've connected me to so many other wonderful female entrepreneurs. I read your book, and now we're on your podcast together, and you're just inspiring me in so many different ways, Misha. So thank you so much for that.
You are so welcome. Well, thank you for being one of those GSD women in our world today. And thank you for supporting female entrepreneurs, right? I think so many times we feel like we have to do it all. We have to juggle everything ourselves. And so people like you and your organization that is providing those services, I think is so important. So thank you for what you're doing. And thank you to our listeners for listening today. And don't forget to get shit done.
Thanks for listening to the GSD Factor podcast. If you liked this episode, please rate and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform, where you can also find previous episodes. Let's also connect on LinkedIn and Instagram. If you're looking for more information on the GSD Factor, visit us at gsdfactor.com. And always remember to GSD, get shit done.